right, this is your 30 seconds. You'll start on the whistle.
We're all together, guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Everyone together.
We got another video here from the Wisconsin Cyclocross Series, powered by Trek Bikes. Got a decent hole shot here. We're in Grafton, Wisconsin. This is a race called Pumpkin Cross, one of my favorite courses of the whole season. Long, sort of uphill drag on pavement to get us started here. Got the hole shot, sat back down, and you'll see Owen Reich here on the right come around me. He's been doing better and better every year, getting pretty good at these starts. So yeah, I don't mind not being the very first one on the first lap in, just so long as I can kind of keep myself out of trouble and out of the chaos, bumping elbows with guys. That is, for me, ideal. What is not ideal is what's going to happen up here just ahead. So this is like a super disaster of a first lap for me, kind of like a worst case scenario. And I guess the good thing is that it inspired me to give a commentary on this one, as opposed to just sharing the full race footage with data. So as you can see, the weather on this Saturday is super beautiful. I think it's like 70 degrees, sunny, fall colors. Basically my favorite type of fall racing weather. Ross Thunberg out of Chicago coming around me there from Team 606. And as you'll see on this corner, we have some slick grass and I crash. So hop back on, dust myself off, trying not to fly into a super panic here. But I didn't quite know it yet, but falling down on the right hand drive side of your bike is not ideal, not great. What can end up happening in that kind of situation, and what happened to me is bent my derailleur hanger, so my rear derailleur is no longer like perfectly aligned with my cassette cogs. And what that means is usually when you're in your easiest gear that you have the risk of like shifting your chain past the cassette and into your spokes. So we've got this important section coming up here. And this is one of the reasons why I think I crashed early on in this race. I've got like too much tire pressure, and this is this critical moment here. We got this uphill, and we've got this barrier on the uphill. As you can see, most guys are dismounting and running. I sprint at it and instead try to hop over. What happens? Chain goes into the spokes on my rear wheel. So this is like catastrophe number 2 on this disastrous first lap. I'm trying to get my chain out of my wheel. I start running. I'm like, you know what? I think I should probably try to bend my derailleur hanger back. So I'm like yanking on that thing with my hands. Back to running. And I'm basically at like the very back of the field at this point. So about as bad of a start as you can have from me. And still pretty motivated though. Haven't given up at all at this point. I'm still trying to just put down as much as I can and get back to the front of the race. Working my way up through these riders kind of towards the back of our field. So this little off-camber section gets a little gnarly. There's a few little bumps there. It's super dusty. So as you'll see as this video goes on, I tried to take it basically all the way out to the tape. Trying to get around these guys, taking some weird lines, not getting super accommodated here. And as you will see, my impatience is about to cause disaster number 3. Trying to go on the inside of this line here, and what's going on? Full on panic mode. I got a shifter full of grass. So lesson learned here, I think that one thing to take away from this is like don't run 31 psi on your rear tire and like 27 on the front. I think I could have gotten away with closer to like 20, 25. And if I had done so, maybe the dry, dusty grass would seem less slick to me. But yeah, at this point, I know that like my rear shifting isn't perfect. I know that it's probably going to be the case that I have too much tire pressure for the rest of this race, so I just need to kind of take it easy on the corners a little bit. But I am in full-on chase mode here, so we're gonna skip ahead a little bit and get us to when I'm able to finally make my way back into sort of like the main group in this field. So I'm finally able to make the pass on that guy on the inside here. And I'm coming up on another rider. This is actually a combined field, so they combined like the 35 plus Masters riders with the men's elite field. So this is still the Masters field that I'm working my way through. This is Nick Dahl, super great dude. You know, encouraging me as I basically just called out that I'm coming on the inside. And yeah, that's not always the case, right? And I don't hold it against guys, right? This is bike racing. You're not always supposed to just like let someone go past you. These guys aren't sure probably which field I'm even racing in, and so yeah, I'm having to work pretty hard to get past everyone. But yeah, still full-on chase mode here, coming through this more technical section. This is kind of like the third problem, I'd say, on this course. The third like technical feature is this big ledge. So a couple of guys in front of me here, they're going to get off and run, and I'm going to go right up next to the tree roots, hop up and try and stay on the gas. It's going to give me enough momentum to come around. Ben Schreiber here, who I've kind of apologized for this actually. I go inside and basically go all the way to the outside, getting around him, and didn't do the greatest job there of taking that corner. But yeah, super cool course. I love it when it is dry and dusty, as I've mentioned, and we're about to see just a huge effort on this paved section, or coming into this paved section, which I basically do every lap. So I'm gonna just come around this guy. Right now the wind is coming from left to right, so there is a little bit of a wind advantage to be, you know, behind someone else, to be on the right-hand side of a rider in front of you. But staying on the gas here and just trying to make up as much ground as possible on these pedaling sections.
Something must have happened unaccustomed to.
So here we are. I think this guy's name in front of me here is Brian Bierman. He's doing a pretty good job of keeping on the gas. Haven't found a place really to get past him yet, but we're coming up to, you know, I previously mentioned like there are three sort of technical features or problems on this course. We're coming up to this like critical problem, which is this barrier on uphill. So Brian and I are going to work our way around Hunter Gangwood here from Broken Spoke Devo. He's one of the dudes that can hop the barrier just like myself. But we're going to come around him, and this is another opportunity for me to start moving up. And to get over this barrier, you really have to full out sprint to keep your momentum. I'm going to come around the outside here, hop the barrier. Still, every time I'm doing that now, I'm like risking dropping my chain or getting it into my spokes, as that had happened previously. But big advantage if you can ride that hill instead of run it. And right now I am catching back on to like the main group in the elite field. So this dude in pink in front of me, Chad Cannon, he is a rider that I know well and have raced against a ton. He's currently sitting in second place in the series, so this is like a huge psychological boost for me after that disastrous first lap, that I know I can at least get back to this main bunch here and you know, maybe find places as this race goes on to try and get around these guys. So still kind of taking it easy on these corners, trying not to crash again, and doing a pretty decent job. I learned, I think, another lesson here, which is that like you can't really pass people on this downhill slalom-y section. There's really only like one or two maybe good lines. So we are coming up here into this little cool single track section. Got some big rocks that are painted. We're going to come through these woods, and when we come out there is the big sand pit, and that is, like, for me, problem like number 2, technical feature number 2 of 3 on this course. Problem number 1 is that barrier in the uphill run. Problem 2 is the sand, and then problem 3 is that big rooty ledge on the backside. So trying to find the rut, stay in these crooked ruts as much as you can, keep your speed up. Not bad. So coming out of here, just standing up, out of the pedals, out of the saddle, I mean, and trying to just latch on and find a place to get around these guys, which I will find here shortly. So Chad, I think, knows now that I'm behind him. He senses me coming up on this group. So he feels the pressure maybe that I'm putting on. He's staying right on the wheel of Matt Riley, who is in front of him. And just like before, this little uphill kind of ledge, this may be a spot to pass. I'm not finding an opportunity here. Trying to maybe sneak in on the outside, but I'm getting closed down. And as you'll see, we get around Gabakaba here. This next little punchy uphill is really the next opportunity to make a move, and it is a critical moment because after this little uphill, we have the problem of the ledge, and you do not want to be behind a group of other riders going to the ledge. So take a line on the inside here, get around, get to the front of that group, and now we are back to chasing. So did pretty quick work with that group, got on, got past, and now we're back on the gas, heading into this next technical feature. Got up that ledge all right. I can see the guys behind me, but I can also see this rider just a little bit ahead of me on these trails, on this technical section. So I am going to use this pavement once again to try and make up as much ground as possible. So standing up out of the saddle, coming out of the trails, and here I'm just staying seated. And I can just sit at like 500 watts on this pavement, which is pretty awesome. So I'm gonna just stay on the gas, get up to, I think this is Danny Fueling up the road. And as the rules go, you do not want to just sit on when you catch a rider like this. You want to keep the gas on, go right past them. And I think I've now worked my way up into 3rd position.
Right, Chad Cannon.
here we are coming back into this uphill run up with a barrier problem. You can see Ross Thunberg is hopping it, just like I'm about to do. So full on attack, get up and over this thing. And that again is just going to allow me to stay on the bike, stay on the pedals, coming up this climb. And Ross is second on the road right now, so we are coming up into second position. I can see in front of him Corey Stelgis. That's the front of the race. So we have essentially arrived. Still got a Matt Riley behind me, but Ross is going to let me come around him on the inside here and continue the chase to try and get back into first position. So I think you guys now probably have a pretty good idea of what's going on this course. Here we got the sand again, finding that rut on the right hand side. Not perfect, but not too bad. Trying to just maintain speed. And there he is. There's first place Corey Stelgis. Chase is on. And yeah, as you can see, I'm not taking a ton of risks in these corners. Again, I'm still a little, you know, like, not panicked, but like, whenever you crash in a race like this, it sort of dings your confidence. So you're always a little bit uncertain about, you know, am I going to wash out in this if I take it at speed? So I'm still kind of taking it conservative in the corners, but trying to find places where I can make up time on the leader here, who is Corey Stelgis. Super strong dude. Raced against him a lot in this series, and yeah, he is like a multiple national champion in running and cross country, and is in the Hall of Fame at his university, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. So he's not too far away, closing it down, and I'm going to see if I can use this next technical section, the ledge, to try and bridge the gap up to him. We'll see what happens. So we got through there pretty clean, but looks like Stelgis was able to get through there clean as well. So really the catch is going to have to be made on this paved section. And so we've got these couple of little corners. I think now he sees me coming for sure. He feels the pressure from the rider behind as it happens. But there's some small thing I want to point out to you. So when I get out onto this pavement, putting down some watts, if you pay close attention, you can see he is like stretching out his lower back. That is a clear sign that riders, you know, feeling the tax of the effort that they're doing. So that's a little boost of confidence for me. I'm gonna do my seated effort here, get up to Stelgis, and just like some previous riders, go right on past him if I can. So you can hear Paul on the mic there. He is our MC at these Wisconsin Cyclocross Series races, and he's right. There was definitely a mishap for me early, as you guys saw. But now here we are. We are at the front of the race. We are railing these corners, and Race isn't over yet, but I'm feeling pretty good after having made all those early errors, still being able to get back and get around riders like Corey Stelgis to take control of this race. So I'll show you a couple of more critical moments. I'm going to skip ahead a bit from later in the race and show you exactly how I was able to come away with a win on this one. We got Jack hired there, risen me up, telling me that I'm doing that barrier smooth. Other people doing the old cyclocross heckles. But yeah, like I said, that is a critical moment. You can see Stelgis now has got a little bit of a gap to me. He has to run that hill. So if you can stay on the bike and hop over those barriers, that is a huge advantage. So that's part one. So we have skipped ahead quite a bit here. This is the end of that lap, and I still have a little bit of a gap to Stelgis chasing behind me, so I'm going to come all the way over to the right-hand side of the road and make sure I'm giving him absolutely no benefit from my draft, and just put my head down and get as much out of my legs as I can on this pavement. So a little bit higher wattage on this lap. You can see the dude over there spinning his towel on the left. He's stoked. And we'll see what exactly that gap looks like here as we look back. So there is Stelgis just coming past the tent. So I've got a pretty sizable gap from that effort. And I'm going to skip ahead to where that gap basically disappears. So we're coming back into this first problem. Uphill barrier. Got the fans out here having a good time. I know that I've got a bit of a gap back to Stelgis in second place, and I know that this is one of the places on the course that I can make up time every lap. So I'm able to get over that barrier again, get up the hill, when in just a few moments, as you'll see, disaster strikes again. Coming back into this off-camber section with the bumps, and as you know, my derailleur hanger is not straight, so my chain goes into my wheels again. Get it fixed pretty quickly, and I'm back running, but like a shark smelling blood in the water, when you are chasing another rider and you see them make a mistake, that is incredibly motivating. So now I've got a Corey Stelgis once again hot on my heels. So coming out of the sand, I think I'm doing a pretty decent job, and I think this is another important point to bring up. I know I've had basically a super disastrous race. Despite that, right, was able to get back into the front of the race, partly due to what I would say is just like consistency. I'm consistently able to do a decent job through the sand pit, consistently able to hop that barrier and make up time on the hill. And I'm pretty consistently able to handle that technical issue of the ledge each lap. And so one of the big things I'd say in bike racing in general is consistency, when it relates to your training, your diet, your sleep habits, your ability to put together an error-free lap. Of course, this race maybe is not the best example of error-free laps, but point remains, right? I think that like having those types of consistencies. Here we got Stell just making the attack. Maybe my consistency thing is just that I'm consistently doing a pretty mediocre job of not having mechanical issues today, but he puts in this effort. Watch what happens next.
Dude, I held my line.
So Corey and I there battling a little bit to get to that corner first, because he knows, just like I do, that this next problem, you definitely want to be at the front. So if you think back to earlier laps, right, like that was the same spot that I was able to get around that main group, and it's super important in cyclocross to be able to approach like a problem section on the front, because if you make a mistake, everyone behind you basically suffers from your mistake. You can see that time not super clean, so huge advantage right off the bat of being on the front of the race. So as you can see, this is the first time this entire race that I am not actually going full out on this pavement, all the way to the right hand side of the road, and you can't see it, but it's because I've got Corey Stell just basically right on my wheel. So this is coming into 2 laps to go, so not quite on the last lap yet, and we are basically together at the front. So here we are, still with 2 laps to go, coming into this first problem section. Stelgis and I still together. I'm going to do everything I can to get over this thing. And I do. You got Mitchagram there to the left, taking photos, making this look good, as always. It's always nice to have him out at these Wisconsin Cyclocross Series races. And as you'll see when I make this corner, every time I'm able to hop that barrier and anyone else has to run, you know, that's an opportunity for me to make up a little bit of time. So there's a little bit of a gap back to Stelgis. And so that's like death by 1,000 cuts, kind of. You know, every time he's having to get back to my wheel from little efforts like that, it makes a difference. Doing my best here not to have my chain go into my spokes again. Successful on this second to last lap of not having another mechanical error. And yeah, we'll see if and when I'm able to get away from Stelgis. I'm going to take us to that moment. Here we are back at the ledge, almost coming into the final lap. Pretty clean run at that time, and staying on the gas afterwards. Now this is an opportunity to see where my competitor is, and there's a little bit of a gap already. So just staying consistent on this final lap, staying on the gas as much as I can. You know, these are like the critical moments in the race. And knowing that I have a little bit of a gap, I'm going to get up out of the saddle here, put some watts down coming into this paved section. And this is, in my opinion, really where the race is won, right here. Just putting down megawatts on that paved climb coming into the last lap, and I can see Stelgis has basically cracked. So a little bit of a gap, giving him no advantage in being in the draft, and just putting down as much as I could on that final little paved incline. gives me the gap that I need, a little bit of a psychological boost, and I'm able to carry that momentum throughout this whole final lap. So that is how you can overcome adversity in a cyclocross race. Don't give up. You know, keep giving your best effort even when things are not going to plan. And who knows, maybe you'll still be able to pull a win out at the very end. So as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos. I'll have another one for you here soon. This past weekend was a double header, so I'll be posting the full race with data from Sunday as well, which took place in Muskego, Wisconsin. So stay tuned.